More people found jobs last month, so why hasn't the unemployment rate changed? Looking back on when the war in Afghanistan began, 10 years ago today. A fiery wreck forcing an entire town to evacuate in the middle of the night, where a train derailed and what it was carrying. And a very scary display. So real, people are calling for help. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Bickle. Welcome to INN News. It's almost hard to believe. Today is the 10-year anniversary of the start of the war in Afghanistan. The U.S. and its allies invaded Afghanistan on October 7, 2001 in response to the 9/11 terror attacks. This is video of those first airstrikes. Since then, Taliban leaders have been forced out of power and Osama bin Laden killed. While progress has been made, the country's future is still up in the air. Insurgent violence remains a big problem, and there are questions about the stability of the Afghan government. More than 2,700 U.S. and coalition troops have died in the war during the past decade. President Obama has said U.S. combat operations in Afghanistan will end by the year 2014. The Nobel Peace Prize has been announced in Oslo. This year's prize being shared by 3 women. The Nobel Committee is recognizing their nonviolent struggle for the safety of women and for women's rights.
The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided that the Nobel Peace Prize for 2011 is to be divided in 3 equal parts between Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Leymah Gbowee, and Tawakkol Karman for their non-violent struggle for the safety of women and for women's rights to full participation in peace-building work. We cannot achieve democracy and lasting peace in the world unless women obtain the same opportunities as men to influence developments at all levels of society.
Sirleaf is Liberia's 72-year-old president and Africa's first elected female head of state. Gbowee is a founding member of the Women in Peacebuilding program in West Africa. Karman is the president of Women Journalists Without Chains. That's a group campaigning for press freedom. A past Nobel Peace Prize winner is celebrating a big birthday as we look at more stories from overseas. Archbishop Desmond Tutu is 80 years old. The man known as the People's Priest celebrated his birthday today in Cape Town, South Africa. He's seen here dancing at his party with U2's Bono singing. Tutu was the interim leader of the anti-apartheid struggle during the 1980s. This is the scene in southern China where flooding is taking over this village. Heavy rain has been triggered by recent typhoons. Many villagers got to higher ground to escape the steadily rising water. Officials there say it will take a few days for the floodwaters to drain when the rain stops. Rene Gonzalez, a Cuban convicted of spying in the United States, was released today after serving the majority of a 15-year sentence. Gonzalez was one of 5 convicted spies known as the Cuban Five who were arrested in 1998. A Miami jury in 2001 convicted members of what was called the WASP network on charges they had spied on prominent Cuban-American exile leaders and U.S. military bases. The only thing cuter than 1 baby leopard is 2 baby leopards. These little cubs were born a month ago in southwest China. They're already a big hit with visitors during the week-long National Day holiday. The 2 leopards met with crowds for the first time yesterday. And that's your Global News Now. Well, more of you went back to work last month. In September, businesses added 103,000 jobs. However, that hiring is being offset by a loss of 34,000 public jobs, mostly at the local government level. That means the unemployment rate of 9.1% stands. This report comes as President Obama pushes his jobs bill, challenging Republicans to explain exactly why they oppose it. He expects the Senate to vote on that bill next week. A government program to help unemployed people stay in their homes ends today, and less than half the cash from the $1 billion program was used. The Emergency Homeowners Loan Program was passed last year as part of the Wall Street Reform Bill, but the Housing Department didn't start taking applications for it until June, and the criteria for the application was so strict, HUD said it only expected up to 15,000 people to qualify. That's just a fraction of the 100,000 people who applied.
Banks get bailed out. We got sold out.
21 days and counting. The Occupy Wall Street protests started on Wall Street. They're now flooding Main Street. New ones are popping up just about everywhere, including this one in Philadelphia. Anywhere from a few dozen to hundreds of people are showing up in cities from coast to coast to protest a variety of issues, corporate greed among them.
It's time for the people to wake up and realize that we still have power.
That's right.
We've got power.
Yes.
And we can take back our power from these greedy politicians and these corporations.
There have been clashes between police and protesters in New York, along with arrests, but most of the rallies have been peaceful. Protesters say they want the government to start looking out for the little guy. The federal government is trying to shut down medical marijuana stores in California. U.S. attorneys sent out letters to more than a dozen shops this week, warning them they have 45 days to close or face federal charges. They say the shops are violating federal drug laws. Medical marijuana has been legal in California for 15 years. Huge flames filled the skies in north central Illinois after a train derailed. You can see the mangled mess right here. The 126-car train was hauling ethanol alcohol when some of the cars came off the track early this morning in Tuscaloosa. This massive fire erupted, forcing officials to evacuate that entire town of about 800 people. So far, no reports of injuries and no word on what caused that wreck. The pilot of this small plane walked away without a scratch after crashing onto a golf course in Florida. The plane went down at the Sebastian Municipal Golf Course yesterday morning. The 57-year-old pilot said he was practicing approaches and takeoffs when the wind blew his plane off course and into some trees. No one else was on the plane. Federal investigators are on the scene. A massive sinkhole opened up in San Diego, and part of the collapse was caught on camera. This happened near the University of California San Diego campus. Police closed off parts of the road surrounding the school. Experts are trying to determine what caused the collapse. A ruptured storm drain could be to blame. Winter made an early arrival in the Sierras this week, and the snow is just starting to melt in Reno as temperatures warm up again. The unexpected blast of cold had some homeless people searching for warm places to stay and warm clothes. Nana Okawa from our affiliate KRXI has the story.
I have one, two, and two sweaters.
All the warm clothing from coats to sweaters are quickly getting picked off the racks at the Good Shepherd's clothes closet. Anything that will keep the homeless here warm.
We've been putting out the winter clothes for a month now, hoping that people would plan ahead, but they don't plan ahead. And not only do they not plan ahead, but those that do don't necessarily have a place to store things. So a lot of the people who come in here are looking for things that they need right now.
For some of the over 4,000 homeless people in Washoe County, the cold weather seems to have come too soon.
Scrambling, trying to find a place, trying to find a warm spot to keep warm.
Do you have enough warm clothing?
No, I have a blanket that I got yesterday, and I got this jacket the day after.
The homeless here say they notice that the men's section is running short, especially the men's pants and shoes section. The director says he's worried they're going to run out of warm clothes, leaving many stranded outside and very cold.
We need more. We've got what we have as a carryover from last winter, which is not going to last very long.
Nana Okawa reporting for INN News.
The Clothes Closet is having a big donation drive this weekend in hopes to be able to refill those racks. Well, are you looking for a home? Why now is the best time to buy. And while Santa says ho, 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 retailers may just be left saying ho hum. New sales predictions are out.
Join my Christmas shopping challenge. I'm Erica Rodriguez, coming up with more on how to save money for the holidays.
And we'll tell you why this Halloween display is leaving some feeling like dummies. And we want to remind you, INN News is on Facebook. Now you can also find us on Twitter at INN News Network. And we're on YouTube. We're reaching out to you so you can reach out to us. INN News will be right back.